Okay, here's some video feedback. Just a heads up, I might be like running certain parts back just for accuracy reasons. Thin BT might be able to help you, especially with like multiple chunks being loaded and like with how complicated this buried treasure find seems to be. Looting could have been cleaner, but I think that you're just trying to get everything, which is fine. Just not super consistent. This should be honestly a reset. Um, don't know what PB is here, but like resetting for proximity is just straight up better than whatever this is. Also, keep blocks that you get while mining so that way you can elevate TNT earlier. Also, that other tree that you gave a look to not too long ago. Uh, this one right here is totally fine. Generally speaking, you want the TNT to be about a knight's move away, which is 1 block, 2 block, 3 block, thereabout. Although this is also totally fine, it may be worth breaking leaves as well. While the TNT is exploding, do more than just like move your inventory around. Put it in your, or move your hotbar around. Oh no. You don't need to do this. If you need more wood, just grab it with the, with an axe. Like, this is just super unnecessary. And, oh man, that's tough to watch. Just don't make this a regular play. Keep that to this run, please. Tab crafting was fine. I liked that you managed your inventory while you were running. All of this looks super good so far. Or all of this part of the split. Obviously, I'm not a huge fan of what you did to those trees. This just kind of came off as like, I don't know super what to do in this situation. Like, you don't really need your, um, like, you don't need anything. You can just use your pressure plate here for it. You're just wasting a little bit of time when you could be, like, getting both of those things while you're getting dragged down by this, bubble column here. Two by one forcing, not bad. Actually, I'm gonna take a look at what your PB is here before I continue. Former PB, what is your current PB? It's a 13 choke. Is it 1812? Okay, I might be wrong, but if it is 1812, then, like, you definitely don't need to be, like, going for micro time saves like 2 by one. Like, this L shape that it was originally is totally fine for you to just play out. Especially when it gets this scuffed. Like, I think an L shape might have unironically been faster. Um, when you get a like close early bastion like this, you don't want to immediately unpause. I wouldn't be surprised if later in this run we see a significant amount of zombie pigs in your bastion. Don't know really why we're heading up. There's nothing. So there wasn't anything up until you dug like 2, 3, 4, 5. There wasn't really anything to suggest that there was anything above here until you dug 10 blocks up. I think the better play going forward would just be to send like a horizontal angle because you're digging regardless. Unless you had something earlier in the run, but I don't think you did. Like, this is just a pretty random dig up to me that doesn't have, like, many bases for, like, why this should work. I'm glad it did, but generally speaking, crawling and sending, like, a sprint crawl would probably be the better play. I mean, this is just nabbing terrain at this point, so isn't it behind you or underneath you? Yep. Oh, you need to be intentional with how you're entering bastions, especially on bridge like this. You saw the thing. I know that you also have another TNT. Uh, TNT this chalice. Like, blaze bedding's a thing. You don't need to save it. Like, this is the exact reason. Like, this is the perfect scenario for. Yeah. You thought about it too late. Really sad. Oh my god. And this is also why you need to get away from this TNT. Glad you didn't die, but that was super duper risky. There's a reason why we typically stand away from this thing. Don't forget it. Just mine it, and you can do all of that crafting in your inventory. Hold on. So I don't know how. Typically, when you route bastions, if it's totally buried, you go up here and then find out if this is a single or double or a triple. But since you can see that this is clearly a single and then this is clearly a triple, just take this route instead of sending it that way. Like, you could be there by now. Here are the aforementioned zombie pigs, by the way. You had that in your hotbar. Oh, no, you didn't. Never mind. Still don't super see why you need to, like, fiddle around with it here. Like, yes, good bridge, and, like, let's start the route sooner instead of fiddle sticking around with this. Don't use this hole. Make a hole, like, right here, so that way, like, all of the guys behind you path easier. You could lose a couple of guys by doing this. See that guy? He could be trading right now. You could do this in the chest, by the way. All of this, like, throwing stuff out, you could just do it in the chest to make it a little cleaner. Wait another half hunger bar. Like, I know that you're totally within the realm for the salmon to heal you. I think it does, like, 4.5 hearts. But you're going to be doing a lot of moving. I can guarantee you that you won't be taking damage, like, additionally, before this before this hunger bar runs out. And it would just be more optimal to eat on 3. You definitely don't need over a stack of arrows. Pearl hanging here. Good. You could probably have, like, moved a little bit further back into the bastion, so that way when you lowered your RD, these guys could still be trading 2 chunks over. But what you did here was fine, still. Uh, 11 obby, and I believe you have everything else. Oh, never mind, you need string. Definitely unlucky. Ooh, I don't know about that one. 4 explosives. Reverse F5 and then turn on chunk border so that way you can kind of see the top of the thing instead of going like this. Also, you don't need to be building up like that. You know that, like, your pearl is close enough to where you can either pearl to land or directly on the fort. Oh, one more thing. When you're pearling right here, turn your render down to 6 for dynamic RD fights. It's just more consistent and just a better overall blaze experience. Same feedback. Oh, unless you're wanting to be aggressive with pearls, which is fine. I think dynamic still, like, does 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 a similar job. Worry about that after you've killed this blaze. This spawner could, like, reset in the time that it takes you to do that, and then you've lost a lot of spawning area between, like, you being in there and that other blaze being in there. Like, the rod up there doesn't have any bearing to that. Yep. And now we realize we're on pretty low explosives, so... Like, I definitely would have waited in Bastion longer for the explosives. You can totally blaze bed here still, by the way. Like, you could just... Like, since you're sending one portal anyway, like, the likelihood of you having access to sheep at some point is pretty high, and or the stronghold library, since you need it. So, blaze bedding here is still totally fine. The spawner's going crazy. Really nice. Do we send it on 5? Since it's an 18xx, I think that this is actually the better play than what I'm talking about. So, never mind. Oh. Like I said, I just thought about it. Like, definitely don't blind here. Don't go for 5. Cool. Or don't go for 6, whatever. You can be doing this in the overworld. I don't think you really need to build up there. Like, yeah, the portal's in the way, but still. You can see over it. Cool. Very nice. Should be ocean exposed. You definitely also don't need to break those blocks. You are totally fine in that department, my friend. Savannah over there. I can't see just because of bitrate. But I assume that you may be able to see it. Grab that dolphin. Sweet. Oh, that's rough. Whenever you're trying to F3C location, make sure that your cursor is below the horizon. So that way you don't get an accidental, like, eye mismeasure here. Like that. Now you just need to undo it. Yep. Still lost sprint, but again, totally preventable. Just keep that in mind for next time. Now we see it, for sure. Block yourself off here quicker. Get your preemptive ready. There you go. And here we are. Okay. Never really a fan of digging right down on 4-4 unless you have a water bucket handy. And since you don't, you take... What is that? 3.5 hearts of damage? Not ideal for sure. Cool. Yeah, usually checking chests isn't, like, super favorable, but I might have considered it just to see bread. It's still, yep. Still the way that you scanned. Like, there's only so many places that this can be at this point. You hear it? Sweet. And here's the part where, like, being more patient in the Bastion could have served you. I mean, 3-bet axe is totally possible, but very unlikely. You can rip the pearl, yep. Can't even make a bow. Oh, I kind of like... I mean, it's definitely not the correct play, but it's not as bad as I thought. If you were planning on full or even half bowing it, that's a perch. Wow. Back. Ooh. You need to get good at reading perches while, like, the dragon is perching. Yeah, you can kind of tell by how the dragon, like, comes in here. Like, the head is slightly... Hold on. Like, you can tell... You can kind of tell how the dragon's gonna turn because the head kind of points in the direction anyway. I don't know if you could have told before you threw this pearl, so definitely just wait on throwing pearls like this until you know which direction the dragon's gonna perch. So because of this, now you're on the wrong side of the dragon. In a 3-bed axe situation, that should honestly be a 3-bed sword situation because earlier, like, you have the iron to make a sword, and swords, no matter, unless it's a wood sword, I think, maybe stone, but definitely iron. Iron and diamond are always going to be better than an axe. And since you can make an iron sword, definitely make it, especially once you're in a 3-bed or a 3 explosive situation. And you're definitely just not doing yourself any favors by having this be a flipped dragon. Yep, not possible, unfortunately. Also, another consideration: you had 3 TNT. You used it on logs, which is obviously another, like, you could have definitely sorted this down and exploded the dragon here. So, I guess overall feedback would be to, like, be more mindful on your bastion, like, what you need to exit the bastion. I think that it was the correct play to leave for 10 obby. It's obviously not the correct play to not leave with enough explosives. Could you have gotten explosives at any other point, like post-bastion? I don't think you could have. Oh, hold on. Oh, this is going to be heartbreaking, I think. That right here. I don't know if you notice that you're on low explosives, so I'm just going to assume that you find out, like, right here that you don't have explosives. Yeah, I guess you just don't have any linear explosives from this point on in the run. I thought I saw, like, right here or something. Like, there are these animals, but I don't think you could tell if they're sheep or not. So, yeah, obviously, like, make sure that you can kill the dragon, and if you don't, you gotta have a real good contingency for it. But I just don't think that you were prepared for this end fight, really, so... Other than that, yeah, try to play things, like, more, like, standard. Like, that overworld wasn't super clean as well. Like, 2 TNTs should really never be used in an overworld. Food consumption was fine. Could have been better, but I understand why you did both of them. So, yeah, that's my feedback.